Hello, I'm William Gallagher. This is not MacNN One More Thing. Well, actually, of course it is. But really, it's the Malcolm Owen Show, or it will be if the aforementioned Malcolm Owen is here. I know he usually is, and it's usually the three of us, but this time there is some doubt. Malcolm, I'm calling out into the wild. Malcolm Owen, are you there? Do you know you're sounding better than usual? Good. Malcolm's important to this one, not because he isn't always important to this one, but there are things going on this week that he knows about. I hate this thing when when you're watching a magazine show on TV and you've got two presenters and one of them's saying whatever exciting story it is and the others go, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'm so riveted. I didn't know that. I keep watching that thinking, really? Do you not follow the news? Did you not read the script? Did you not rehearse this? In this case, Malcolm and you are having a chat, and Malcolm knows something I genuinely have missed out completely because I was off working in another part of the forest. What I know is that there is a thing called Bunk. Malcolm, this is actually really significant. It's very interesting news, and you were on top of it. What's the story with Bunk? Also, hello.
Hello. Right, first off, I want to clarify things. It's not Bunk.
Oh, am I just making up terms now?
No, that's a legitimate one.
Oops. I'm very sorry, but the real one. Can we just step back for one thing? Because I'm obviously mixed up about this. I think in the past I have actually bought some bundle from somewhere. Perhaps it was bundle. As I understand it, a bundle is a deal. You go and you pay one small amount of money and you get 10 brilliant apps, or actually more likely one or two good ones and a few duds for padding. But anyway, a lot cheaper than you normally would. You get apps, the developers get some attention. That's how the bundle stuff works for all of them. Is that about right?
Yeah, basically. You pay a stupidly low amount of money for a stupidly large pile of apps. That basically sums it up.
So, everybody wins, and it costs us very little. What's gone wrong now?
Well, readers of MacNN will notice that we've been talking quite a lot about two specific ones, Mac Bundler and Bundle Cult. Anyway, the short version is these two bundle sites have been accepting developers to sell products. So they've been saying to developers, yeah, we'll sell your products, just give us a bunch of license keys and we'll send them to people who come on and pay for the bundles. And the developers accept, the bundles go on the site, get sold, tons of them get sold, developers are supposed to get a pile of money. And it's that bit that's the problem. And we were brought to the attention of this issue last year, and it recently resurfaced because we received an email from the guy who's supposedly running one of the sites that we've gone, okay, this is a bit wrong, and he wanted us to promote one of the bundles on one of the sites. To which our first reaction was, you don't read our site, do you?
An easy mistake. Even I got the name wrong. You can well understand him missing a detail like that.
Did you not see what we spent all this time writing about this person specifically? Or persons, depending on how you look at it? Just to be clear to everyone listening, there's quite a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that I'm not going to be able to talk about for various reasons. My part in this, I'm not writing the articles myself. I'm certainly helping with little bits of research because we've discovered the person or persons supposedly who operate these sites, or at least the ones that we're investigating, is based in the UK. And it helps if you have someone who knows a little bit about UK culture and UK systems and rules and laws and stuff to do a little bit of research or to help in research. So I've been helping out purely on the research side just to try and connect some dots.
You're the man in the field, aren't you? You're local talent. You've been dispatched.
Well, to be fair, what I'm doing really isn't... it's certainly research, but as far as my research goes, it's things like judicious use of Google and going through Companies House, which is the registry that UK businesses that have limited liability have to register with. So we're able to get some information from there. We're able to get some information from Google, and we smash it all together and we go, yeah, that looks weird. That's wrong. And then we look at the emails.
It's desk research, but which usually is very tedious, repetitive, long jobs, and are worth it because you get a good nugget every now and again. And this is where I came in. Again, I'm not writing it either. I haven't read the article yet. I just understand some of the background. You found a nugget through one of these desk research moments. I realise there's got to be legal implications for everything, but is there anything you can tell us about things you found in this hunt?
Okay, and I'm going to be as careful as possible, obviously. There's always been on the other side. The other side keeps on saying that there are two distinct personalities who are behind the sites, and it's I'm going to say person S and person D, because we might as well do that. And
okay, actually, can I just stop you there? BBC News trend just popped into my head here. You're going to be very careful about this, of course you are. You know about that, but I'm really sorry. This is a bit of legalese talking here, a bit of journalism issues here. I can't remember the term. Is it jigsaw identification, where you say something perfectly safe and reasonable, but somewhere else, maybe on MacNN's article or some other place that picks this up, they say something completely reasonable, and yet together that information IDs somebody. I've just had a big problem with a book where, frankly, a rapist was going to be identified through this system, and you want rapists to be punished, but not in this way. You couldn't go through the course this way, so we had to undo key tiny bits of information. Is it safe to even ask you to do more of this, or are we boiling down to saying you need to read what's on MacNN.com?
Well, I'm doing it because I want to be as safe as possible with what I'm saying. But yeah, we got names on the website.
Oh, okay. All right. So all right. Well, then the names are out.
The names are out there. I'm just doing this just to try and be as safe as possible and to not confuse things, because it does get a bit confusing. So we got person S and person D, and we're supposed to believe that they are two separate people. And through my searches on online, I've discovered that person S has a social media life up until a point, and person D has somewhat, but not much. But then I looked into things like graduation dates and where people have lived, and it gets very, very sort of what you expect a Reddit pitchfork brigade to be doing very, very quickly, which is very... It's worrying that I'm going through this, but I understand it's full story, so I've got to. But yeah, we discovered that based on the information that we were presented, there was fairly reasonable doubt that there was two people. We believe that there's going to be actually one person, and they're using multiple names. And we've pressed one of the identities about this, and it's... After that, we discovered even more information that just made it look more and more and more like it's one person using multiple names. And then we went to Company's house, and things got really fun there. I found quite a lot of... what's the best way of describing this? A lot more information that makes me believe that, yes, this is one person doing this, but using lots of different names. And I'm not too sure about the legality of having people identified as directors in the company but under assumed names or different names.
No, nor do I. It doesn't leap out at you as being a thing that would be fine, but we don't know. So, okay. I mean, I have multiple names for things. Funny story to tell you about that. Probably not yet. So, where are we now with this information?
We're at the point where the person who I will call D is saying person S sorted out a bundle and screwed up and has caused all these developers to come at us. we talk to the developers. The developers are saying we weren't contacted, or we were contacted, or we did set up a bundle but we weren't paid. There's a bit of variation between individual developers as to what happened. But basic gist is developers' software got bought on these bundles and were sold, and the developers were not paid. Pay the developers. And we have a huge sticking point there of the developers are still not getting paid.
That seems fairly clear-cut, doesn't it? You ask the developers, have they been paid? They presumably say no if they haven't. So it doesn't sound like it's a technical sticking point. It's just presumably nothing is moving this forward, and perhaps nothing can get moved forward to get them paid.
Now, one of the biggest things, and I think this is possibly the most amusing thing I found during the entire research, that has appeared in an article, so I can actually talk about it. While we were researching the one or two people, we did a fairly standard thing, a whois search on a domain, a DNS lookup, or whatever you want to call it. Or basically, when you register a domain name, usually certain information can be searched. For example, who registered it and what registrar registered it, and sometimes they come up with names, addresses, phone numbers. During one session, we found what looked like the name and address for the person on one of the multiple sites that are involved in this, and we thought we'd call him. Now, I'm not too keen on calling people and accusing them, but my colleague Mike certainly is. So he tried calling the mobile. He wanted the number, so I sent him a link to the same page that showed the information. And when he got the page, the phone number that was listed was no longer listed, and the address and name had changed on that bit as well. It turned out someone changed the registration information within minutes. So in the time it took for me to see it and the time it took for Mike to see it, someone went in, changed the information and updated it, and it had updated on the site.
There's no possible way that they were informed somehow that you were looking, the way you get on LinkedIn.
We had been contacting them by email beforehand anyway, so we have a long chain of emailing them.
Oh, no. Sorry, I completely understand that, all due diligence was done, all the contact attempts were made, all conversation was happening. But I'm thinking, on LinkedIn, I had a notification that someone had viewed my profile. Is there anything in whois that showed someone had read this, and that's why this person showed it? So it's purely, well, not exactly coincidence and chance, but the timing is just
Well, the thing is, there's so many websites out there that offer services to type in a domain name and it'll show you the information listed with it. It's quite a standard thing. And you'll find lots of people offering this, so you can see the domain registration info right next door to a load of advertising.
Well, I've used it trying to find domain names I need that appear to have been bought but don't have sites. It's a way I can check who owns them. So
there's tons of them out there, but because there's so many out there, you wouldn't expect any of them to do any sort of contacting back. I mean, or at least the person I'm referring to in this instance, would have been alerted to the times when I searched on LinkedIn, certainly. But I'm not aware of anything on Facebook doing that, or Twitter, YouTube. YouTube, you get a person. You maybe get someone a notification for when someone's subscribed, or for viewing milestones. You don't get anything for this particular person looked. But it's weird. I think it's just the sheer timing of the email conversations that we've had, and just the dumb luck of us finding that it changed within minutes of discovering it and then handing it over to someone else, and it's changed.
Yes, I mean, that's the thing that gets me. Again, it was desk research. Normally, the good stuff doesn't come out of that very easily, but this absolute fluke, really. Well, that's unfair. You were working through methodically, doing everything you should, and you got the reward for it. But it happens that the reward is fascinating in a journalistic way for it. I'm sorry, I asked you this earlier in a different way, but I'm still not quite clear. This is a story that's moving, obviously, because we're still in touch with S&D and all this, I presume. What is the likely next thing to happen? Is it likely that dealers will be all paid off tomorrow and everybody will be happy?
I have no idea what, at least from what I'm allowed to talk about, really, without getting into any sort of trouble with anyone. I have no idea what the next move would be of the people that are under investigation. I know that the developers will almost certainly be going, "Hey, could you pay us our money?" And then it's up to the other person to, so the bundle site owner or operators, to say, "Yeah, okay, we'll give you money."
I think I want to stress as kind of a last thing on this point is that you and I both talked about being safe, and there's obviously legal reasons for it. But also, I think there is an important journalistic point here that we want to be fair. And although our articles and your research is leading to certain conclusions, it's not over yet. It's still in play. So anything we say now could actually be completely unreasonable and casting unfair aspersions. So yes, there's an element of being safe, but also this is necessary and important and fair. And I think the only thing we can do is watch to see what happens next. Sounds fair?
Certainly.
In which case, can I just back off to something completely different and complain about you waiting for something? Previously, on one more thing, you were waiting for your iPad Pro to come, and I was with you. I was rooting for you. And then you get it, and it's like a year before you take it out of the box. How inhuman are you?
What do you mean, how? It's a tablet. It's not a puppy.
It's not a tablet. It's an iPad.
Oh, calm down. Look, what happened?
Shan't.
What happened was on the Thursday that it arrived, because it arrived for everyone on Thursday, obviously. I ended up going to because it wasn't delivered to where I'm living. It was delivered elsewhere. So I had to go and pick it up. I had to go and pick it up in the evening. And then by the time I got back, I had some more work to do on the site. So I thought, I know full well, if I open that box, I am going to just sit there and play with the contents of that box for multiple hours and nothing will get done. So I thought I'd better do my work first and then open the box.
Inhuman. Admirable, but inhuman. Okay, hours go by, and finally you open the box. Here's the big thing. Do you like it?
Yes. Very simply, it is just, yes, I like it. It is what I've seen other people use in terms of iPad. This is the first iPad that I've owned. I've used a family member's iPad before, but it's a early generation iPad Mini with a very, very cracked screen, as in bits of glass are still falling out of it. But it was still functional.
Ew. It occurs to me, I've had iPads for years, but I would bet money if you gave us both a test on what's in an iPad and how you use them and what they're for, you would win. You know this stuff really, really well. And I think your Android background is an advantage because you know what else tablets do. I'm sure I must have picked up an Android tablet, but certainly, yes, I got bored with one and put it right back down again. I just think there is a difference between knowing all of this stuff and then actually having it as your own. Not only owning it, but the fact that you've paid a lot of money for it. It's in your hands. You could break it and it wouldn't really matter if you broke it. You can't just hand it on to a relative. Are you able to switch off all the things, the factual things you know, and just see whether it does a job for you, whether you enjoy using it? So not rating it, but appreciating it. There's a subtle difference there. How does that feel?
Well, I would have to say I'm still kind of in the honeymoon period at the moment. Give it another couple of days and I'll be, yep, it's an iPad.
Yeah, I'm not sure the honeymoon ever really ends. I was working on my iPad Pro again tonight at a workshop, and I thought, oh, that's a good bit.
I mean, I do have to admit, it is a stonking tablet. It is a fantastically powerful, bright, brilliant to look at. It's got a build quality that, and I said this before with the Apple keyboard, it feels like something you can hit someone over the head with and cause concussion or even kill them, and it'll still work. It is a serious bit of kit. I mean, there's many things I could talk about it that are fantastic. For example, it's got a decent camera on the back of it, which for a tablet is just.
Is it? I really thought that was normal. Again, I never thought about it. So that's
You try finding anything that's a double-digit megapixel camera on a tablet. It's got a better camera than the original iPad Pro. The original? Why? Why on earth am I saying the original?
You mean the one
the big one.
Yeah, mine. Yeah, that one. It's better than that.
Yeah, a better rear camera, better front camera. So this one's 16 megapixel on the back.
Do you know, I don't think I've used the cameras on my iPad Pro for it. It's a bit big to go around photographing things. Mind you, I have photographed with the iPad Air since, because it makes that seem smaller. I've yet to do Skype or FaceTime through. You see, there's always something new.
I haven't done FaceTime ever.
You should try it, actually. I know Skype's more universal, but FaceTime...
I've got it on the Mac Mini, but I've never used FaceTime on there. It wasn't until a couple of months in that I started using messages.
Listen, thingies of the week. That's an important part. One more thing, but it's a bit obvious this time, isn't it? Your thingy of the week this week, duh, iPad Pro. Yeah, what more can you say about it?
The fact that that's not my thingy of the week.
Okay. Well, go back to your room and think about what you've done. Okay, what could be better than an iPad Pro on the week your iPad Pro arrives?
Okay, put it this way. Where do I live?
This is like a Where's Wally thing. You're Wales.
The answer is middle of nowhere, rural
yes.
Wales, yes. And what is rural Wales not known for?
Urban things?
Great internet.
Oh, true.
Everywhere I've lived down here, in the rural sections at least, we've been blighted by really slow connections. And it wasn't until last year that we started getting decent download rates, but still astonishingly poor upload rates. So up until last night, the connection I had here was about 16 megabit down, which sounds good, but 0.7 megabit up, which meant that I can consume content very, very nicely, but I couldn't generate content and upload it in any sort of timely manner. I did a video for an article on MacNN itself, and just to upload it, I just thought, this is going to take ages. I might as well just leave the Mac on and go to sleep. And that's what I did, because it took 2 hours.
Aww.
2 hours for like a 2.5 minute video.
In 1080p, highest quality you could do or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it just took so darn long to actually do that. Now, the connection here has finally been updated, so now I have a decent connection. The download rate is double, which is kind of okay, but more importantly, the upload rate, 9.47 Mbps. That means I could do things like video conferencing without worrying about bandwidth.
Right. Tell me your download rate again.
3699 at the moment.
Kilobits per second or megabits per second?
Megabits per second.
Right. My download is 13.73 kilobits per second.
13 kilobits per second.
Yeah. I've gone off you.
Are you sure?
That's what it says here. Oh, no, it's gone down to 7.4. Download rate. Yep.
Kilobits.
KB/S.
Are you... capital or lowercase b?
Capital.
That's bytes, not bits.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm glad you said that.
So that's a little bit better, but
still not great. Okay, but, yeah.
But it's that upload rate that you really need to care about.
Yeah, I'm fine with uploading things and waiting, though actually I have a slightly higher upload rate. I don't know. I mean, it's varying. It was on 16. It's just gone back down to 11 or whatever. But so it is uploading faster than downloading. But we are in the middle of a Skype conversation, and who knows what madness that introduces to the world.
I mean, according to speed test, I'm now faster than 75% of the United Kingdom.
Right. Have you got a spare bed there?
No. They're occupied by cats.
Okay.
And the iPad
That's
Pro.
fair enough. I'll share with an iPad Pro. Your thing of the week, then, I can kind of understand. I think you're inhuman and have no soul going for BT instead of iPad Pro, but, I can see where you're coming from. I don't know that you can see where I'm coming from in mine, as mine is another keyboard, the Logitech K810. I just adore it. It's a portable Bluetooth keyboard. I wrote about 7,000 words on it today. Very springy keys I wasn't expecting, and I just deeply enjoyed the fact that wherever I was in a museum, then I was in a bank, I was in a client's office, and then I was running a workshop. In all of these places, iPad Pro, keyboard, wallop, words written. Deeply satisfying. And I don't know what it is about me that so enjoys typing, but I really do. And in fact, I went slightly crazy on MacNN and wrote an article about the hunt for the perfect keyboard. I think I may have to revisit that. This has got to be another one. I'll find another one.
How much is this? How much is this keyboard again?
Yeah. Don't really want to go there.
Go on, try me.
Well, the thing is, I can't answer that without telling you why it's a big deal getting it. There are two versions. The 810 is actually meant to be for iOS and Android devices, but also with PCs. There's a Mac version. Again, Android and OS phones or tablets, but a Mac desktop. And the keys are slightly different, and I need the English layout, sort of the US and all this stuff. In America, you can get the right one, the K811, at the click of a button. In the UK, it's gone. Amazon don't stock it. Logitech don't mention it exists anymore. It is a deceased keyboard here. And of course that deceased before I had to find it. Now I know the 810 retails for about £90 in the UK. I think it's $99 in the US before tax. I paid £75 for this version of the keyboard to work with mine. So $106 or so. Slightly more than I would have wanted, of course, and because it is the 810, it has Windows keys instead of Mac keys, and that ought to be fine. I'm a touch typist. As long as the keys do what I expect when I press them, it doesn't matter what's written on them. But actually, there's something more. The two keys are reversed on Windows, so I keep having to move my thumb in an unusual way to select certain things. But I'll get used to it. And the QWERTY layout, well worth £75 to me. Tell me that you have spent many a £75 on a keyboard in your time.
No, but I have to say that actually sounds quite, compared to what Apple are offering as the keyboard case for the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, that sounds actually quite appealing to get.
Oh, good point.
Because I don't want to spend £130 on a keyboard cover that's not a UK layout, because Apple's not doing that yet.
Still aghast at that, but I'm sure it can. I just don't like the feel of the. I mean, people are saying the smart keyboard for your 9.7-inch Pro feels very different to the large one, so I'll give it a go sometime. But I just didn't enjoy typing on the smart keyboard case. There was something about it made the iPad Pro, the large one, feel like a windbreak rather than a tablet. It just somehow made it seem huge. Whereas the external keyboard, oddly enough, doesn't. Look out for the 811 if you can. I have an alert on eBay, and they do come up every and again. I might well buy the 811 when it comes around, which would blow the £75 bargain, but there you go. Okay. Right, so while you've been off doing desk research, I've been off in other parts of the forest playing with keyboards. It's the way we roll. Let's see what we survive through till next week. Good talking to you. I'll keep an eye on the bundle story on MacNN.com. Until see you next week. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.